6:55. Welcome back. The time has come. Polls are open, so make sure you vote today.
That was fraud. That was voter fraud. Corn maze. 9 sides Alexa Liacco is downtown with answers to questions you have this election day.
Sam, the most asked question that voters ask of the Pima County Recorder's Office is, where do I go to vote? Where's my polling place? Just visit the Pima County Recorder's website, enter your address in the polling locations tab. You'll get that answer, and make sure you do go to that polling place, because if you vote in the wrong precinct, your vote will not be counted. So it's very important you do that. Also, if you've moved and you haven't changed your address on your voter registration, make sure you go and vote where your new house or apartment is. Do not go to where you used to vote. And lastly, if you have that mail-in ballot still on you, you can turn it in, skip all the lines today, just walk into any polling place, drop it off. And if you've lost your mail-in ballot, no worries as well. You can go and fill out a provisional ballot, but again, make sure you go to your designated polling place. Live in downtown, I'm Alexa Liacco. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Alexa. Now let's continue our team coverage with Carlos Herrera live at an east side polling place.
Carlos, what can people do if they don't have an ID but still want to vote today?
Well, it's a common question. Can someone without a photo ID cast their vote at this polling location like this one today? And the answer is actually yes. They can use other forms of identification to cast their vote. They have a number of options. They can use two of the following: any utility bill that is dated within 90 days from today. They can also use a bank statement or a U.S. passport. Voters who are unable to provide these valid identifications should be given a conditional provisional ballot. However, their vote won't be counted until they provide a valid ID. Live from the east side, I'm Carlos Herrera, KGUN-9, on your side.
Carlos, thank you. Happening now, it may be a new election, but voters are experiencing the same problems at the polls in Phoenix. Not even an hour since polls have opened. And look at the line already wrapping around the building. That was earlier this morning, right when lines opened, but it doesn't look much better now. As for the primary, we reported voters waiting up to 4 hours at the polls. Just last week, early voters waited 2 hours to cast their ballot. The Justice Department will be keeping a close eye on the polls today to make sure everyone who's eligible gets to vote. More than 500 monitors will be at polling places nationwide, including some here in Arizona. But that's a lot fewer than the DOJ had in the polls in 2012. That's because of a 2013 Supreme Court decision.
And ahead of the polls opening this morning, they are now open, but this poll came out before that. Donald Trump appears to be winning in Arizona. The latest poll from Data Orbital has Trump with 47% to Hillary Clinton's 44%. They have been tracking Arizona voters daily, with Trump slowly gaining a lead here in the Grand Canyon state.
And don't forget, all day long, KGUN-9 will bring you election team coverage on the air and online. KGUN-9 on your side app. Join us for candidate reactions on the CW at 9, KGUN-9 News at 10, and the latest poll numbers all night long. Now to April Madison with a look at your Election Day forecast.
It's going to be breezy, very, very windy today as you head out. So go now if you want to avoid the strongest winds. 83 for the forecast high, but 20 to 30 mile per hour winds is what we're expecting, possibly as early as 11 o'clock this morning. It won't die down much tomorrow or Thursday, but we will get the 70s back starting tomorrow for the rest of the week. Big Al?
April, we have an issue right near the main gate of DavisMonthan. There's a swan gate for commercial entrance, and then there is the main gate for everyone else. And we have a police activity issue on the Craycroft main gate, or at the Craycroft main gate at DavisMonthan this morning. Just a few minutes old. Again, if you're heading to DM, if you have the commercial plate, you may want to use the commercial entrance, which is Swan. That is the latest from the Beat the Traffic Center.
Thank you, Big Al. Overnight, we got our first results out of the 2016 election. Came out of the state of New Hampshire. The people of the small town of Dixville Notch cast their votes at midnight and closed the polls once all 8 people had wrapped it up. Hillary Clinton got 4 votes, Donald Trump 2, Libertarian Gary Johnson 1, and Mitt Romney a write-in vote as well. And just to prove there is no excuse not to vote, NASA says 2 of its astronauts recently filed their ballots while on board the International Space Station. A year before the launch, the astronauts selected which elections they wanted to participate in. 6 months later, they got an application for an absentee ballot, and they cast their vote. Back here in Tucson, Winterhaven residents are looking for about $40,000 to help sponsor the annual Festival of Lights.
A major sponsor pulled out, and the neighborhood's looking for a long-term partner to keep it going after this year. The lights will go up December 3rd of this year. It's a big draw here in Tucson.
One of the biggest.
Absolutely. Get out and vote.
Have a great election day, everybody.